is that anxiety doesn't have to control you. With a bit of knowledge, awareness, and a few simple techniques, you can effectively control your anxiety. Notice that I said control. Controlling your anxiety is a reasonable goal. Ridding yourself of anxiety is not. If your goal is to rid yourself of anxiety, you are setting yourself up for failure. Anxiety is part of the human experience. In fact, you wouldn't want to completely rid yourself of it if you could. Anxiety, in its various forms, is adaptive and serves critical functions, as I discuss next. The key is how you manage your anxiety through self-regulation, understanding, and acceptance. Trying to eliminate anxiety from your daily experience will leave you feeling frustrated and defeated. What is anxiety? Worry, stress, tension, nervousness, panic, fear, unease, jitters, angst, and the ever-popular heebie-jeebies are all used to describe anxiety. However, these terms are not completely interchangeable. Although definitions vary in their complexity, anxiety is generally viewed as an unpleasant feeling of apprehension, concern, or dread. It's a palpable feeling of unease and unrest, and is often cryptic in its cause, difficult to describe, and a challenge to ignore. There are three terms, however, that share similarities and are most often used to describe anxiety: worry, fear, and stress. Worry is what we do to ourselves by thinking too much. Worry in itself is not a big deal. It's unlikely a day goes by that you don't worry about something. But, as is clear in David's story, worry can become problematic if it starts to infiltrate many areas of your life. More important, if it causes you emotional, work or school or relationship problems. It's time to do something about it. Again, worrying about bills or your child from time to time is generally of little concern. Worrying about many things all the time is more problematic. Fear, the most primitive form of anxiety, is the emotional response to a known or suspected threat. It often shows itself through panic, as described in the vignette of Lori. Fear is considered to be a primitive emotion because it has served an important function in the evolution of humans. In fact, it continues to serve an important function in modern society, although for slightly different reasons. As discussed in later chapters, fear and panic are warning systems that help people make quick and important decisions about their safety and the safety of others. In some cases, in the absence of a real threat, people's warning systems malfunction, leaving them feeling embarrassed and emotionally and physically drained. Stress, a term that is used to describe just about everything psychologically and physically unpleasant, is what the body and mind experience when life's demands are greater than what people feel they can handle or should be required to endure. If you don't believe me, over the next few days, listen to how many times you hear someone say they are stressed about work, school, parenthood, finances, health, marriage, friendships, traffic, chores, and so on. It has become a catch-all term in today's culture. It's a hodgepodge of the various forms of anxiety, fatigue, exhaustion, emotional and physical pain, and a few other ingredients thrown in for good measure. But it remains in the anxiety family. So, if I've lost you with my various descriptions and definitions of anxiety, don't worry. Throughout the book, I use the term anxiety to describe worry, stress, fear, panic, and the like. The techniques I describe work for them all. However, if nuance is needed to understand a certain point, I let you know. The key point to remember is that anxiety is a complex emotional and physical phenomenon that takes different forms for different people. And most important, you are not powerless against it. The good and the bad of anxiety. At times, anxiety gets an undeserved bad rap. Just like alcohol, fast food, and slot machines, most everything is harmless.